Is it time for recess yet? I'm so glad you found time to join us here on the Childcare Director's Chair, where Erica Sacoccio shares her best practices that she's refined through her passion of directing childcare centers over the last 23 years. From parenting interaction, systems to save you time, money, and stress, to profitability. She shares it all from the Childcare Director's Chair.
Hey there, childcare leaders. Welcome back to the Childcare Director's Chair podcast. I'm your host, Erica Sacoccio, and today we are diving into a topic that's both daunting, give you a headache, stress you out, but also can be rewarding. As childcare directors, we know all too well that sometimes we're faced with the task of rebuilding our teams. It is definitely not an easy journey. It's one that's filled with challenges, setbacks, moments of doubt, parents upset that teachers are leaving, children upset that their favorite teacher isn't going to be there on Monday. Let's be honest, rebuilding a team can stretch your own leadership skills, but it also can make you a better, stronger director. Sure, it might be painful at times, but in the end, the reward is definitely worth it. So whether you're currently in the middle of rebuilding a team or just looking to gain some insight, today's episode will help you navigate through the process. So we're going to talk about the 10 top challenges of rebuilding a team and how we can face them head on. So imagine this, and I know so many of you are going to be able to relate, but imagine your center used to feel like a well-oiled machine. Your team was in sync, everything was flowing, and your days were filled with joy, laughter. You couldn't wait to get to work on Monday. Then suddenly things changed. Maybe you lost a few key staff members, or some roles were just not the right fit anymore. Because that happens too. People grow out of their positions. There's only so many positions you can move folks to, or sometimes it's honestly just not the right fit for them or for you anymore. And before you know it, the team dynamic starts to unravel. And the energy in your center, well, we all know it starts to feel off. And now you're tasked with rebuilding. But it's not just about hiring new faces. It's also about creating a cohesive team that can help you run the center, help work together, support each other, and create a nurturing environment for the children. While it's a long process, because let's face it, it takes a while to get that A-team, I promise you that you'll come out the other side more confident in your leadership abilities. So let's explore those top challenges that you'll face when rebuilding a team and how you can turn them into opportunities for growth. Well, I know it can feel like a marathon. It's not a quick fix. So you have to understand that you're going to need patience, consistency, and intentional effort. And when I mean intentional effort, you're so used to working with particular people that you don't have to do a lot of, I don't want to say not a lot of intentional things, but it's a lot easier to do those intentional things because you know them and you know them well. I mean, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 10, 20, you're working with someone, a lot of things come very natural. You know how they communicate. You know when they're upset. You know when they're not. You know when they're happy. You know kind of a lot of what's going on, and oftentimes in their home life. So there's just so much that you know about people over a period of time. And so again, understanding it's going to take patience and consistency. You are not going to get somebody in, no matter how great they are, and they only work there 2 weeks, and they're going to just be able to hop in and it have the same feel as a group of people who have worked together forever. So think of it like this. Think of it like planting seeds in the garden. You plant, you nurture, and then over time, you watch those seeds grow into something strong and beautiful. But let's take a closer look at the 10 most common challenges that come with rebuilding your team and how to deal with it. Well, number one is you have to find the right people. That's probably the hardest challenge, finding the right people. As a childcare director, you know how critical it is to have staff who share your passion for children and align with your center's values. But sometimes it feels like a game of trial and error. You may hire somebody who looks great on paper, but once they start, you quickly realize they're just not a good fit. And I know so many of you are nodding your head right now. It happens to all of us, and it can get frustrating. You don't want to waste your time hiring someone who will end up leaving, but you also don't want to just settle. No more are we hiring bodies to meat ratio. This is where you need to get clear on your non-negotiables, where the values and qualities that you cannot compromise on are very clear. Is it their passion for child development, or their ability to work as part of a team, or their communication style? Once you know what matters most to you, it is a lot easier to filter your candidates. Hey, it's Erica here, and I've got something super exciting to share with you. If you're in the world of early childhood education, you cannot miss the Early Childhood Empowerment Conference. And I'm not just saying that. Trust me, this is where the magic happens. Over the course of 3 days, we're all about learning, connecting, and reigniting that spark that brought you into the field in the first place. And let me tell you, this conference is packed with goodness. Day 1 is all about leadership. We've got 5 incredible presenters who will walk you through the business side of running your program. Plus, it's more intimate, a retreat-style day with only 80 administrators, so you'll get tons of face time and an opportunity to connect. And to close out the day, a fun, hilarious comedy show and dinner with Jay Yoder from the Board Teacher Comedy Tour. He graces the stages all over the country. Day 2 is a day full-blown conference with 50 vendors, 14 amazing speakers, plus 2, not 1, but 2 keynote addresses that will leave your head full of fresh ideas. Oh, and did I mention, you can also get a free professional headshot. You can even hop on an ECE podcast and share your expertise with the world. So much fun packed into one day. And then day 3, you get to relax. We're heading over to Urban Sweat, where you can treat yourself however you want. Whether you want to unwind in a Himalayan salt cave, you want to get into a yoga class, or just enjoy a relaxing massage, you will leave totally recharged. You can book your services directly with Rafa and pick exactly what you need. So are you in? Don't miss out 3 days of empowerment, inspiration, and just pure connection with your ECE community. I can't wait to see you there. So let's do this. Links below. See you soon. And remember, don't rush. It's better to take time to find the right fit than to hire quickly and then have to start all over again. It makes it so much harder to get momentum. And, this is something that I have going on at one of my centers right now. I have 2 teachers who are leaving a particular classroom. One is going back to a different field that she was in prior, and the other, it's just time for her to move. She's been there for 8 or 9 years, and it's just time for her to grow and do other things. And, and I support that. But when you have 2 teachers leaving in the same classroom, we already know that that is going to cause a huge rift in that classroom for the parents, for the children, and unfortunately, it's happening almost simultaneously. So we were able to find a very good candidate who I've been trying to get to come on over to my center for many, many years. And her timing was right for her to leave her center as well. So she made that move, which helps with half of the battle. Now we're just looking for a TA to fit in that position to be the perfect TA for her. And it is something that I told parents, we're gonna take our time. I don't want to just move ahead quickly and just put just anybody in there. So that might mean either myself, my assistant director, one of our floats will be in that room until we find the right fit. Now, you found your new team members. Now comes the next hurdle, which is training and onboarding. This stage can feel like you're starting from scratch. When you've got a new staff member, they need to understand not only your center's policies, but also your unique culture, your routines, and expectations. And that's a lot of information for someone to sort, in a short amount of time. So you have to remember that training isn't just about the policies. It's about making people feel like they belong. And that's so important to me. Share the heart of your center. Tell your story. Tell them how you started, what your vision is, what your mission is. This helps create a deeper connection beyond just the how to, the SOPs, how to do this or that, how we wash our hands, how we sanitize. Of course, those are all important, But you have to make sure that your onboarding process is not only informative, but also welcoming. It'll set the tone on how they engage with the rest of your team. Also, don't be afraid to take it slow. I know you have this urge in your gut to say, you got to rush through, make sure they know everything. Listen, don't rush through the training process. Give them the time that they need to ask questions, to learn the ropes, to get comfortable with their new role, and understand there is going to be a learning curve. Now, challenge number 3 is building trust. When you're rebuilding your team, trust can take a hit, especially if there's been turnover or tension. Again, if you lose a key player, that definitely affects the vibe in your school. So if you're bringing on a new staff while an existing team members are still there, you need to rebuild trust on both ends, and that doesn't happen overnight. As a leader, you need to show up consistently. Be transparent about your expectations, and also be open to feedback. Create opportunities for open, honest conversations, because this will help rebuild the trust that's been lost. And don't forget to trust your team too. Micromanaging is not going to help. Showing trust with their abilities will empower them to step up into their own roles. And building trust, it just isn't easy, but it's essential. So start with small actions by giving praise when it's due, holding yourself accountable, and maintaining an open door policy. And when I say holding yourself accountable, do not rush through their onboarding. I gave it a week, I gave them 2 weeks, I've told them everything they need to know. No, onboarding, we all know, is probably something that really should be ongoing, but a minimum, the first 90 to, honestly, I would even dare to say 6 months, depending on your program, before somebody's going to really get into the groove and feel like they fit in and understand all the expectations, all the policies, all of your families, all of the children. Because again, these are a lot of relationships. And especially if the teacher is going into like a preschool room, there's, 18 to 20, and depending on what part of the country you live in, may even be more than that. But it takes a little bit of time to build trust with 20 parents or 20 families. And, sometimes it's not just the family, but the grandparent, the aunt, and all the other family members that may come drop off and pick up and be part of your school community, on top of the children, and understanding their, little quirks, and if there are any special accommodations. And there's just a lot to learn. So, 6 months, I would say people should start to have a good feel, but it takes time. Now, challenge number 4 is managing different personalities. You cannot compare the new person to the old person. They're a different person. Every team is made up of different personalities. And when you're rebuilding, that diversity becomes even more apparent. You might have some team members who are naturally introvert, while others are more extrovert. Some might be highly organized, while others might need more guidance. And guess what? That's okay, because different perspectives can actually strengthen your team if it's well managed. The key here is to understand each person's strengths and areas for growth, and create an environment where everyone feels valued, acknowledged, and that everyone's style might be different, but that's what it takes to make a team dynamic work. Learn how to communicate with each person in a way that works best for them. Flexibility and understanding will be your best friends here. And I have to tell you, when it comes to organization, I'm not the best at it. So maybe if there's an organizational issue for an employee, I may get my most organized teacher to help them out. If somebody is struggling in an area of being introvert, well, guess what? I'm your girl, because I'm an extrovert and I can help you come out of that shell. But finding the right people on your team to help make it more cohesive always makes it a better environment and experience for everyone. Which brings me to number 5. The number 5 challenge is maintaining morale. There's one thing that I've learned, and that's morale can really take a hit when you're rebuilding. And uncertainly, if not more often, it's going to be from your staff that are feeling unmotivated. And I know it can feel like you're constantly having to lift spirits of others while your own energy is drained. I get it. It's tough. But I want you to remember this. Morale is contagious. If you stay positive, even during the hardest moments, your team will follow your lead. You'll sometimes have to celebrate those small wins because those might be the only things you can find during a time of transition. But if a new hire gets through their first week successfully, celebrate that. When a team member steps up and takes initiative, give them recognition. You don't have to throw a big party, but just acknowledge the effort and progress, and it will go a long way to keeping morale high. Now, challenge number 6, which sometimes is difficult when you're rebuilding a team, things can get a little fuzzy. Staff might not be clear on who's responsible for what, and the roles can start to blur. You may have a few team members who wear multiple hats, which might be necessary at times, but it also can lead to confusion and burnout if it's not managed carefully. So while there are clear communication strategies, it's critical that you make sure that they're outlined so everyone knows where to go and for what. It ensures everyone understands their specific responsibilities. You should have defined job descriptions, but beyond that, make sure to check in regularly to make sure that expectations are clear. When roles are clearly outlined, it keeps everyone on the same page and it prevents frustrations from bubbling up. And gosh knows, I've had my share of those times, and I continue to. Number 7, communication breakdowns. Now, the first thing I always like to say is communication is 2 ways. It isn't the leader spoon feeding the team, and it isn't the team always having to bring up things to the leader who walks through the center with blind eyes. Effective communication is the backbone of any team. When rebuilding, it's easy for messages to get lost in the shuffle or a misunderstanding to happen. Staff might not feel comfortable voicing their concerns, or maybe they just don't have the space to share feedback. To avoid communication breakdowns, make sure that you are creating regular touch points, whether it's weekly meetings, one-on-one check-ins, an open door policy. All of these things can do wonders. Also, being an active listener. Ask your staff for feedback. Let them know that their voice matters. And when you do this, you foster an environment where communication flows freely. It creates a much stronger sense of unity. Now, the other thing I want to say and point out when you're talking about communication with staff, sometimes staff are telling you things just because they want to vent. Sometimes staff are telling you things because they want you to do something. Sometimes your staff are telling you things because they want to do something about it, but they're just not sure how to. So when people are talking to you, be a good listener and ask them questions of what they want or need or expect from you. I feel like that helps a lot. When you do that, it shows that you're a good listener as well. And repeating back what they're saying to make sure that you fully understand what it is that they are saying to you. Now, number 8 is one that we all know. No one loves change. Resisting change. Let's face it, change is hard. It's hard for all of us. It's hard for me. I hate it. I'm so attached to my team. And when somebody leaves that has been with me for years and years and years, that's super difficult. But when you're rebuilding, you'll notice that there's a lot of change. You'll be introducing a lot of change, whether it's new staff, new procedures, or a different way of doing things. Some team members might resist these changes because they're so comfortable with the way that things are. It's important to be empathetic here. Acknowledge that change is hard and give people the space to express their concerns. Be transparent too about why the changes are necessary and how they'll benefit everyone in the long run. When you bring your team along for the journey, they're more likely to embrace change with open arms. So let's go back to that for a minute. It's hard sometimes, right? Because the teacher that's leaving might be a great teacher. It might be someone who you can count on, that you have a great relationship with. You know what to expect from them. Again, going back to, we get really comfortable with the way that things are. And so that resistance to change is something that you have to acknowledge not only for your team, but for yourself, right? And you may hear things like, well, that's how Susie did it. That's how we should do it. That worked good, but that might not work well for your new team member. So you have to give them some autonomy so that they can find their way into the team and feel like they fit. Understand that, be empathetic, be patient, all the way around with yourself, with the families, with the kids. Again, it's going to take time. So we're almost at the end of this list here. I've got 2 more left. So number 9 is handling conflicts. Conflict is inevitable, especially when you're rebuilding. When different personalities come together, disagreements will happen. That's okay. The challenge here is how you handle those conflicts. If left unchecked, small disagreements can snowball into bigger and bigger issues. Address conflicts head on. Encourage your staff to communicate openly with each other and make sure you're facilitating those conversations when necessary. The key here is to address things early before they become bigger problems. Conflict resolution is a skill that you need to continuously refine as a director. But when it's done right, it will strengthen your team. It will also show them how to handle conflicts on their own. So it's not just your own skills, because again, we're leading by example. It's skills that your team will also learn and start to implement. And number 10, they are all equally important. Are you still there? Keeping up your own energy. I'm going to say it again for you. Keeping up your own energy. Let's talk about it. You need your own energy. As a director, you set the tone for your team. And when you're drained, it affects everyone. Rebuilding a team is a huge task. It's easy to burn out if you're not careful. So don't forget to prioritize your own well-being. Take time to recharge, to set clear boundaries, and lean on your support network. And that support network can start right here with the Childcare Directors Chair podcast. Join our community. We have a Facebook community. We have an Instagram group. Well, not a group, but Instagram where you can connect with me. And then we also have our YouTube community. You can post on our YouTube community page. You can post in our Facebook leadership group. We do some lives. We do some Q&As. Please, become engaged with our community. Because whether it's directors like yourself, mentors, other friends in the field, you can't pour from an empty cup. I know you know it. I know it sounds cliche, but it's true. So take care of yourself so you can show up and be the best for your team. So there you have it. Rebuilding teams might feel like an uphill battle, but with patience, persistence, and the right strategies, it is possible. I thank you all for being so much a part of my community. You guys are so wonderful. I get messages from all of you so frequently on the impact that this podcast has had for you and your team. That helps give me joy. That helps refill my cup. So thank you so much for reaching out. Please continue to reach out. If this is your first time listening to our podcast, we hope that you come back. And as always, as I say, it's the small details that make a big impact on the success of your childcare business. Have a great day.
Well, all the cute little kiddos have been picked up and it's time to go home. And that'll do it for another episode of the Childcare Director's Chair. Please leave a review so Erica knows the information is helping you to manage and improve your childcare centers. Remember to subscribe to get the latest episode from Erica's Childcare Director's Chair.